Alero. Hello,
All right. If you have
everyone.
not liked, if you have not shared, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please, now is the time to do so. Quickly do so now and join us as we keep talking about how you navigate in your marriage. Today, our topic, we're going to be focusing on reconnecting after a conflict. Reconnecting after a conflict, because every marriage goes through conflict, goes through its trials and temptations, tribulations, as you would call it. But after that, what next? So that's what we're going to talk about. Stay tuned. All right. So, Alara, I'm going to start with you. How do you reconnect after a conflict? Which level was the hardest for you that it took a while before you reconnected? Because obviously, it's not all conflict you reconnect after like a week or an hour or 30 minutes. There are some that will take like even months.
Okay.
So, tell us how you have been able to navigate all through.
Personally, one of the rules, or I don't like to say rules, but the kind one of the um rule, I'll just use rule for us or for me personally, is not to go to bed angry,
Yes.
right? But I do find that a lot of the time that happens unintentionally, right? Unintentionally, maybe because one person is too hot and we can't seem to resolve the situation before it's time to go to bed. And obviously, you have work the following day. So there's no point in having that discussion. Or maybe the kids are around and you don't want them to be involved in the conflict. So you just go to bed, let's table this matter. But I see that it's quite a difficult thing to reconnect. And I would say majorly there needs to be a talk about it, right? Depends on the level of the issue that the thing that caused the quarrel. You know, I would say if it's something really mild and you can overlook, it would be very good to learn how to just move past things.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Initially, I would wait for my husband to apologize every time I think he did something wrong. And now
Oh,
it's not necessarily doing something that is very big, you know. Maybe he just did something really small, but I got offended. But I want him to apologize. But these days, I just moved past waiting for that
mhm.
because sometimes, especially for men, they have a subtle way of apologizing. They are not necessarily saying it verbally, but they have a very subtle way. So learn your spouse's subtle way of apologizing, right? And if you find that they are doing that thing, that some men will buy you gifts. It might not be like a really big gift. It might just be, I saw this. I know you like this ice cream from so place. I bought it for you. That is subtle way of apologizing. That's when the issue is not really big. You know, it's not something you have to like talk about. Somebody put the cup where they're not supposed to put it. It broke, and I'm really upset. You know, I'm not going to wait for him to apologize for that cup because. But one thing about me is that I say my mind
Yes.
the way it is. And obviously, like somebody could get defensive, and then small thing would just turn to big argument. But I need us to learn to walk away. You said your mind, that's it. Let bygones be bygones, you know. So that's one of the way I just if it's a small thing like but if it's a really big issue, like a really big blowout, I actually would like to talk to both partners because it takes two to tango, right?
Yes.
I think it should be like we said in the beginning. I think one of the videos that we made the last time, I'll put the link up there. It's not a competition.
Yes.
It's not a
Yes.
competition. We are not looking for who is right or who is wrong or whatever. So I think we need to put that at the back of our mind. If it is something that infidelity is one thing I'm not even talking about because that's a different kettle of fish on its own. So I know
Yes.
that that can be really hard, but we're talking about the like things that you can let go, things that are a bit subtle. You know, I would say never go to bed angry if you can help it. Secondly, we have never been in the habit of sleeping in separate rooms. We have never, and I don't think we'll ever be in the habit of doing that. No matter how much fight we fought, you'd see like serious fights would still end up going to bed in the same bed. One, because I'm not about to lose my comfort because somebody's son decided to vex me. So, and he also, he's not going to lose his comfort because somebody's daughter decided to annoy him. So we both go to bed, and I'm not also a fan of really, really large, gigantic bed. We have like a very okay, what's it called, double bed. Yeah, a standard bed. So that when we are angry and somebody is sleeping one way, there's hands flying everywhere. And even that can even like spoil you to just laugh, like, will you come and move away from my space? Little things will just reconnect you. But majorly, I would say talk about things. Don't be shy of talking about things. Also, when you're talking, I think you should be able to allow each other speak. Allow each other speak. And just when you go into the talk, be in that talk to resolve issue. Don't go there to continue the fight. Yes. Have the mind that I'm going to resolve this thing and I just want to be heard, and they also need to be heard. So I'm going to give an example. There was a really big blowout me and my husband had, and I was really, really upset. I'm more of a simmer for a very long time kind of person. So he wanted to apologize, but I was really angry and he didn't have the access to me to apologize. So he waited and waited and waited. And the more he waited, the angrier I was.
Longer.
Yes, because I think that for women and men, it's a very different thing. I think in that case, men would wait until they are comfortable or have a definite sign that when I go to this person to talk to this person, she's not going to chop off my head. So they will stand back and wait till maybe she's still angry or something like that. But women, if you leave them to simmer, think of 1,000,001 ways to win. They are overthinkers. We're overthinkers. So we overthink a lot. We are thinking of, oh, maybe this man is not even interested in me. We take it very to lengths. As at that time, I was really thinking that maybe I should start packing my bag and be going to my father's house because and he's not even apologizing. He's just living his life the way he's supposed to be living it, and me, I'm here upset. I was really overthinking, and I needed my man to come to me and say to me, "It's okay. I apologize," or make everything all right. But he was waiting for me to calm down. So I would say apologize when you need to apologize, not when it's comfortable for you to apologize. Right? Sometimes we wait till it's comfortable, So apologize when it is needed. Immediately, if you know that you've effed up, apologize for it immediately. And also, if your spouse is apologizing genuinely, be open to accepting it, because hey, we are in this together forever. So you get to 1950, you will still come back hungry now. So why not just save each other the stress and have an open mind to receiving whatever it is that they are saying, And I'm also a very big believer in having some kind of intimate time after there's been a rift, because like having sex after there's been a rift.
Sex, they call it.
Yes, because I think the Bible, apart from reproduction, gives sex as a way to reconnect.
That's true.
So if there's a way reconnect you, it mends the bond between you.
Yes, 100%.
Yes. So I think that would be a very good way to reconnect. But I know that as women, sometimes it never finishes for our body. The anger is still there, our body, But we need to be able to forgive and forget and reconnect with your spouse, like in whatever way that you deem fit. Have the mind, put it in your mind that I want to reconnect, I want to rebuild, and don't let that thing fester. Because like I said, the devil is only looking for a very tiny bit of hope, and then he's going to expand it. So it could be like even the smallest fight that you have that has not been apologized for over a while. And again, you need to focus. I think you need to focus on the issue at hand.
We talk about that now from a video.
Talk about this all the time. We need to focus at the issue at hand, because when we are angry, we tend to bring up the past. And the more of the past that we bring up,
1980, you did this.
And the more of the past that we bring up, the more upset we are with the situation. That's how you did this that last time. That's how you did this one. we're agitating ourselves, we're making ourselves more angry with the situation. But if we stick to the fact, you just realize that, oh, is it this toothpaste cover that he did not put back that is upsetting me like this?
Problem.
Okay,
That's true.
let's let that slide. Or is it this cup that he did not put where I asked him to put it that he didn't? We're not going to bring up the fact that he doesn't listen. Okay, so the issue is that cup at that moment, not the general fact that he doesn't listen to you. It might be that he doesn't listen, but at that time, that's not the issue.
That point is not what we're talking about. Yes, I agree.
So maybe later on, sorry, my apology. Later on, when you are on a more, convenient ground, on a more amicable talk, you can say, oh, honey, I feel that you don't listen to me because I've seen a trend or a pattern. So this is something that you can discuss when you are both on amicable setting. Yeah. So yeah, basically that is for me. Well, I don't know. How does it go for you?
Okay, while you were talking, I was actually jotting that. So let's leave my jottings, and then you've asked me a question. So let me answer you. So for me, I sometimes when you talk, I go way back because I used to feel that marriage did not start today. It started from as far back as when we got married. So initially, when we got married, because I came with that mindset that, oh, do not let the sun go down on your anger. Ephesians 4:26 says that. I would always make sure we settle everything. Yeah. So I try to always, I'm a very shy person, especially when it comes to sexual intercourse. So I will always still push myself to start up this makeup sex thing and everything. But there was a period when the thing put me off. I think that time my husband and I had one issue. It was so big, and then the next thing, I think I told him, okay, I was sorry, and he said, okay, come, let's have makeup sex. I'm not understanding. I told him that's not how it works. It doesn't work like this. That these things is better when it happens. We are emotionally involved. Yes, I apologized. I wanted us to let go of it. But inside, like you said, we women, we overthink. Inside me, I knew that I was still hot. I did not open my legs because I was not in the mood. I said, no, it doesn't work like that. And then the thing shocked him for a moment. Like, I don't understand. You've apologized now.
Don't go with that.
Like that. It does not work. No, I am not mentally ready for this. Mentally, I am not ready. And because I'm a very shy person, it took me a very long time before I started dressing up before my husband. Like,
is it?
That's another story for another day. It took me a very long time. I was always very shy. I didn't like even to touch me. Say, if my husband touched me, I'm like, I didn't like it. I was not used to anybody touching me, so it was really tough for me. So for what you have said, I feel over time, of course, we started looking for other ways. Even if the makeup sex will come in, it was not now tagged makeup sex. It just happens because at that point, okay, we reconcile with each other. Then we now begin to gist. Then we now, when we are quarreling, he doesn't now bring his work gist to me. And I would not likewise. I wouldn't take my work gist. So at that point, we start
There's a lot to talk about, yeah.
Yeah, so for us, that's how we now started working. And over time, yeah, that's what we've been doing. So when you were talking, I kept on jotting down. For me, I always like, when I jot down, it keeps it in my head. That's the kind of person I am. And then you mentioned something, which I don't think we've ever talked about. Never leave your matrimonial bed. That one hits me.
No, I don't. Babe, it's not as if I planned this thing. So I didn't go into marriage with the intention of never leaving my matrimonial bed, right?
Yes.
Maybe also, some things subtly happen based on maybe you're growing up. My parents had separate rooms while I was growing up, and I didn't subscribe to it.
Okay.
So maybe that's part of why I never leave my room. But I also don't leave my bed because I just think, not because I'm nice like that or because I'm it's such a romantic. It's because I cannot leave my bed and come and sleep on couch because man anger me.
And that's true. And that's one takeout.
He likes to sleep too much to sleep on couch because we are fighting. So in the 11 years soon in October, we have never ever been in the same house and one of us sleeps in the sitting room and one of us sleep in the other room. Like not intentionally because we're quarreling. It could be that we put the kids to sleep and one of us sleeps off there. It's a different issue. But intentionally get up, take my things and go and sleep in somewhere else. No. And I find that that works for us a lot. A lot. Yeah. So I don't know. It's tips that we share with people. You never can tell which one would work
It
for
resonates
with them. So yeah, basically that's it for me.
Honestly, by the time I picked that, I felt a bit guilty because in my first year of marriage, I did that a lot. I was always very angry. To an extent, I thought I was becoming a bitter person. I was always very pissed at everything he does because I felt he wasn't doing things how I would want it. How he started also is what I was saying to myself. Like, when you were toasting me, you were chasing me up and down, you do this, do that. So now I'm already in, and then you are.
You don't change.
It just felt like a scam to me. I think at the time we were calling, I was like, you have been a scam. So this marriage of a thing, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it has to do with your mindset. It has to do a lot with your mindset. And you mentioned something again, which is forgive completely and move on. Because if you don't forgive completely and move on, you'll find out that any other thing that person does to you will trigger the previous
That one, yeah.
one. It will keep triggering them. And at the end of the day, you are not healed. And forgiveness is a healing.
Absolutely.
It's a healing, it's a process. It goes through a lot of process. You first try to see that this person did this thing, whether knowingly or unknowingly, but you then, that's the first process. You look at, okay, what's the rationale what's the rationale in this person's action? By the time you check that, then you now sit back again and say, okay, and now that I know that this person may not intentionally want to hurt, or you now think, oh, this person intentionally hurts me, it's now up to you to say, okay, I want to let go and let us move on. And then start looking for ways to, what's the word? You look for ways to forget about that thing. Because it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. It's not easy to forgive and move on. Because no matter how you're living in the same house, that person will still step on another toe of yours, and you will still get angry. Please share with us how you have been able to do it.
It's not an easy thing. And I like I said, I find that when we go back in time is when things just scatter. I say we just turn young pepper scatter because everybody's just in the mud, throwing back, you two, you did this, you did this. We will now leave the whole crux of the issue and move on. So the thing that has actually caused the problem has not been resolved, is still staying unresolved. And then we probably just move on from it because we are exhausted from fighting about it. And then at the end of the day, if we don't resolve that particular issue, it just goes in the bucket with the other ones that we have refused to resolve, and it will come out, it will raise ugly head again next time. And these days, to be honest, maybe it's old age, because I can see some gray coming up small.
You're not alone, trust me.
Maybe it's old age, but babe, I just don't have the energy to hold on for too long.
Yeah, same actually. Same.
I don't have the energy.
It's with time.
I think the realization that a lot of
you are in this for life.
You are in it for life. 1, 2. It's not that people do these things intentionally.
Intentionally, yes.
I know that he's not out to get me.
Yes.
Do you get? It's just unfortunate that we clash sometimes. So, and also, if he learns, like he has learned to apologize, or to be honest, I've just gotten with his jive. I'm not saying that I've just piped down myself, but I've just gotten with his jive because he's a happy-go-lucky person.
Wow.
Yeah, he's here today. We quarreled last night. He's waking up and say, "Hey, babe, how far?" I'm like, "Don't touch me. We're still quarreling."
I get that.
Or maybe we're in the car. We have like a lover's part in the car. By the time we come inside, 1 hour, 2 hours, he's over it and he's like, "Yeah, babe, do you know what happened?" And I'm like, "Don't talk to me, please. We're still quarreling." So I find that it's easier to just get on his talk, because to be honest, he doesn't remember what caused the quarrel. He's forgotten it. He just thinks of it as we just had like an argument and that's it. So it was not anything that was supposed to stop us from continuing as husband and wife. So for me, I just decided to. So when he does some things like that, and I would say, "I beg shift Jarina, so you could just do," then he would laugh. Then we just move on from there. So I found that I tend to put in a little humor into our discussion, or he laughs at some of my reactions, and then we make up.
Yes.
or we totally just forget about whatever the issue is,
About it
especially things that
completely.
don't need answer. There are some quarrels that really don't need answer.
Yes.
That
Yes.
don't
It
need
just
so,
happened that we have
yeah,
different opinions. That's all.
exactly. Like I said to you, there was a time we were having a different opinion about whether a child should go to boarding school or not go to boarding school.
Yes, yes.
It became a big quarrel. But fam, this thing is still hypothetical. The girl is not even old enough to go to secondary, not to talk of going to boarding school. But it became so where who is apologizing to who now? Because
Who now on that in that case,
it's
that's
a
true.
difference of opinion.
That's true.
So we just move on from it and say, okay, fine, Kalas, we have moved on, nothing, and we don't talk about it. We just continue as regular. So I think with time you begin to just realize that no one is out to get anyone.
Yes.
No one is out to get anyone. We're a team. We'll work together and we'll
Work
continue to work
together.
together to
Yeah.
better our home in general and to better our marriage. And
Yeah.
yeah, so basically that's it for me, I think.
Yes. When you talked about your husband happy-go-lucky, and that he's the happy-go-lucky person, that's who I am, really. And
Mm,
I remember one of my bosses called me that back in Nigeria when we were working. She told me that she just noticed that whether because we did inter-house sports, and
mm,
then whether my house was yellow house, whether we won or we lost, it wasn't a big deal for me. They were killing themselves during rehearsals. People wanted to win. Red House was on top of it. They were, up to this, people said they're having misunderstandings and
mm,
having all these fights. They were not talking to each other. And for me, I felt at the end of the day, what are we teaching the kids? Do you
mm.
understand? That's the kind of person I am. What are we teaching the kids? We're doing inter-house sport is for these children. It is not for us. So by the time we're done with inter-house sport and then Red House didn't come first, I think they came second. You need to see their leader. She cried and I'm not joking. She literally cried her eyes out. She said, my time, my money. And I'm like, for me, all these things are not big deal. So that's when my boss was like, you Prudence, you're just a happy-go-lucky person. And that's the same thing that happens in my marriage. When we have an issue, sometimes I look at it like, just
It's
is on
not a
time.
big
Let's
deal.
move on.
Yeah.
I want to gist with my husband. I'll just see that he's wearing a face. I'm like, guy, I'm not in this with you. And initially I used to think maybe it's because, okay, I'm in my period, those times, your hormonal change and everything. So when I want to yab him, I'm like, let me do period.
Now you
Let me
they
dey
carry face.
and you get emotional. What's going on? So time, he's learning to know that when we have all these misunderstandings, it's just what it is. It's part of it.
Yeah.
Because it is these misunderstandings that actually help you grow.
Grow.
These are the things that help you bond.
And
These
even
are the
learn
things
more
that
about
make you
each other.
understand.
Yeah.
You said?
I said, and also learn more about each other. It helps you learn.
Yes, they're the ones that make you understand each other.
Mhm.
If you don't have, I'm just imagining a home where they don't quarrel.
Mm,
I'm just imagining. I don't know what it's going to look like.
mm.
When they tell you, we don't quarrel, we don't have
I don't
misunderstanding.
think that's real.
Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying in that house.
Yeah, somebody is putting on the facade. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And,
Mhm.
and for me, it's not healthy. Because by the time that person would blow out, the roof will open. Oh.
That's if they are not having a skeleton that they're hiding somewhere.
You understand? So, I'm thinking, like one thing I used to tell my husband, before we clocked 10, I kept on reminding him that 10 is not 10 weeks, so 10 is not 10 days, 10 is not 10 months, it is 10 years. And I quickly told him that I will quantify it to days so that you will feel the
The magnitude of
animosity
it.
or whatever. What's that word? You will feel how big it is. My son will say it's magnius. I don't know the English might be
Gigantic.
magnificent or English tells me a lot, so I'm not sure I have the right word to use, but how big it is. So I kept on telling him that as we grow older, we should learn that the Bible even states it, that the older the wine, the finer or the
Yeah,
sweeter it
absolutely.
becomes. Now let's not see these 10 years as a time where it's just 10 years. Let's actually be better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's tolerate each other better. Let's learn to tolerate each other's excesses. Because as you did so, that's what I used to tell him. So my husband and I will speak pidgin. I say, as you did so, notice say you don't get flaw. The
Mm.
day I mentioned my husband's flaws, the guy took a step back. He knew that this man has been watching. But I've been overlooking all those flaws because I felt, okay, he feels he's from a perfect home, he's perfect. But I told him that you get flaws. And I mentioned them all to him. I said, but I always overlook them because I saw beyond that. I wanted us to work on us rather than our flaws. Then when time comes and we are having issues, then we work on that issue.
That is-
That has always been my mindset. I did a lot of marital courses. I told you,
Yeah.
I spoke with so many people. So my mindset when I came into marriage is different. My parents' marriage was very interesting. My daddy told me one sweet thing. I think we'll talk about that some other day, about his wife. And since then, that has been the mindset I came with in marriage. That's the mindset I came with, where my husband will adore me for who I am and I will adore him back. That's the kind of person my father is. My father knew to play with my mama. My mom was like the queen in his life throughout until he passed on. He never joked with my mom. And that was the mindset I came with in marriage, that I wanted to be that wife that my husband would not joke with, So I don't think we need to overflog it, but like I always do, I have my take home for the episode.
Right, let's hear it.
All right. So for my take home, the first one is understanding your partner. Don't think that what we have shared here today is how it will work in your home. No. You have to understudy the person you are married to, understudy who you are with. That way you would know how to resolve conflict with that person. The second one is there is no one rule for reconnecting. Whatever we've mentioned here is our own experience, because that's what this show is about. We share our experience. It doesn't mean that this is the rule. You must work with this. No, we are not forcing any of our opinions on anybody. And then the next one is don't go to bed in anger. I mean, we are Christians. And then for those who are not Christians, Ephesians 4:26 states that do not let the sun come down on your anger. Don't go to bed angry. The sun, of course, ducks, right? Is it ducks? Yeah.
Yeah.
Dawn.
No, dusk.
Ducks, yeah. So do not let the sun go down on you, and don't allow evening to come and then you are still angry all through. Doesn't mean that it won't happen some days, but as often as possible, try to not to make it a habit, you know. Then the other one you talked about is, which I like the most, never leave your matrimonial room, your bed. Not because of the comfort, but because also for that sacredness, and then to not to help elongate the issue. You understand? If you leave your room, you are actually making.
And I'm getting it.
Yes.
And we keep saying it. The devil looks for one tiny little thing. Before you know, one day becomes 1 week in the sitting room. 1 week becomes 1 month. 1 month becomes 1 year in the room. So we just need to be careful about that. Yeah, go on.
Okay, the other one is talk. Converse about the bone of contention. Talk about it. If it needs to be talked about, talk about. Because there are some things that cannot be, like what you mentioned, whether the child is going to boarding or not. She's not yet ready. We can't talk about it anymore. We've already raised it up. He already knows my stand on this. I know his stand on this. We leave it. When the time approaches, we can revisit it. You understand? But if it needs to be talked about, if it's something that you think will reoccur over and over again, talk about it. And the other one is come with the mindset of resolution. Not come with the mindset that hey, the judge must hear this, and won't win. In fact, then you will now give your talk bullet points. Oh yeah, point one. This is it. Don't come with that mindset. Come with the mindset that I want this thing to be resolved. I want a resolution for this issue, so that way you know that regardless of how it spirals, you would still resolve it. And the other one is apologize when needed and genuinely. I think I like how you use that genuinely. Don't just apply, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That even triggers me more.
Yes. Apologize when you are sure that truly I think I'm sorry for this. You don't necessarily need to, make it so romantic. If you can, it's up to you. You can decide to light candles everywhere in the house, roses everywhere. It's your own way. Make the apology peculiar to you and your spouse. What do you think would entice your spouse the more or the most when you are apologizing? If your hobby is somebody who would like to see flowers everywhere, lingerie hanging and dangling somewhere, please, my darling, do it. Do it. Let the man be seeing it and be going, and then he will just say, "Oh, this woman has apologized." If he's someone who is the food, cook that food. I'm telling you, cook that food, present it, and say, "Hey, sweetie, this food that you're eating." The man might keep quiet and say, whether you want to say, he go choke you. But you can, however way, really, jokes apart, however way it will work for you, it's up to you. Then we talked about makeup sex. It's not compulsory, but if it works for you, please go on and do it. And then the last one is forgive completely and move on. Oh my God. It's not going to be easy. No one is saying it's going to be easy to forgive. Oh my God. It's not going to be easy. because the person will still step on your toes. He will still annoy you.
And you still
But the
forgive.
truth is, forgiveness, I've always heard it right from time, but it took me a while to understand it. Forgiveness, it's a healing. It's for you.
Yeah.
It is you, not the person.
Not the person.
It is you.
Yeah.
So make up your mind to forgive and forgive completely. If we are allowed to table all the issues we've been through in our marriage, we shouldn't even still be in that marriage,
Absolutely.
to be honest.
Absolutely.
You understand? But by the time you learn to forgive, you will just overlook those things and ahead. That's the word. Ahead, you look ahead.
Yes.
That's okay. There's a future that I want to have with this man. That's where your mindset.
That's where your mind is. Yeah. Yeah.
Ahead. I want to move. I want to see. There's something we said we are going to achieve at age 50. Please, ahead.
Go.
50.
Eye on the goal.
They say eye on the ball. When I don't know if you see one funny video where they tell a boy eye on the ball, the boy will carry the ball and put eye on the ball. You know, so yes, ahead. I think that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 take homes for you, our dear lovelies. It's always very good for us to share our experience in marriage. It's not easy for us to come out to share what we have experienced and give you real life experiences. We're not going to sugarcoat anything. If there's anything we're not comfortable sharing, trust us, we're not going to share it. But whatever we have shared here has been our experience. All right. So I'm leaving it to you, Alera, please. Final words for our viewers.
I just want to say thank you for always having the summary of the whole gist. It's quite refreshing to just hear. And you know, when we just talk, ramble on. But when you put it into points, it gives more perspective to things. You know. Yeah. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody watching us, and thank you for sticking by us. It's your girl Oge and Alero on Sip and Share with Oge and Alero. Thank you. Subscribe. And don't forget to like our videos. And also, please, if you have anything you want to talk about or questions you want to ask, either send us an email or send us or drop a comment in the box below. Send us an email. I'll put our email in the description so you can send us our email. Also, don't forget to follow us on all our socials, especially Instagram, at Sip and Share with Oge.alero. And thank you all. We'll see you next time, and God bless you.
God bless you. Bye.